In fact, the story of the Dune universe doesn't end with Paul Atreides or even his son, Leto II, the God Emperor. Thousands of years later, humanity faced a new colossal challenge that, however, didn't unfold the way everyone expected. Fans of Dune have several levels of immersion. Some have only read the first book, enjoyed it, and stopped there. And I can understand them. Dune is quite a self-contained work. The second level of fans has read all 6 books of the saga written by Frank Herbert himself. There, the story concludes with a large-scale war that erupts thousands of years after the death of the God Emperor, Leto II. But there are also those who have read the books published by Frank's son, Brian Herbert. He claimed that they were based on his father's drafts, thus making them part of the canon. And so, it is in Brian's books that the story of Dune is finally concluded. In this video, we will explore how that happened. Enjoy watching. In the world of Dune, there had long existed a prophecy of an impending apocalypse. Human legends had predicted such a catastrophic event since the dawn of civilization. The followers of Buddhism called it Kralizek, and believed that the apocalypse first broke out when thinking machines destroyed the old empire and enslaved humanity. With the rise of the Corino Empire, humanity thought the dark times were over. Later, many saw signs or stages of Kralizek in the war started by Paul Atreides after seizing power, as well as in the 3,500-year reign of his son, Leto II, but the final Kralizek occurred later. I won't retell all the events of the Dune universe, which I've already covered in the previous articles. Let's just highlight the key milestones that led to Kralizek. Paul Atreides and his son Leto, foreseeing the end times and a terrifying crisis that would strike humanity in the future, tried to prepare people for these trials. Humanity could only be saved by realizing the golden path, revealed to the Quadhadak, Paul and his son, through their ability to see the future. Paul Atreides didn't dare fully walk the golden path, but Leto II was braver and took up the task. The plan was complex and long-term, and to execute it, Leto merged with a sand trout, becoming immortal. When he had fully prepared humanity, Leto allowed himself to be killed. The empire collapsed. Many people fled into uncharted regions. Chaos erupted. Local wars, famine, and other disasters followed. Meanwhile, in the uncharted regions, a new, powerful, and aggressive organization was formed, the Honored Maters. Eventually, they decided to return to the old empire's remnants and conquer them. The Honored Maters faced fierce resistance from the Bene Gesserit Order, and a new war flared up. New heroes emerged during these events. Yet another Ghola of Duncan, Idaho, the Fremen girl, Shiana, the Bene Gesserit commander, Miles Tegg, Reverend Mother, Morbella, and others. Some of them sought to avoid wars and conflicts and fled into uncharted space aboard the ship Ithaca, but it was they who ultimately triggered Kralizek. During the journey, mysterious enemies named Daniel and Marty began hunting the Ithaca. To counter them, the crew started cloning heroes of the past, including Paul Atreides, Leto II, and others. It soon became clear that Daniel and Marty were none other than the leaders of the thinking machines, Omnius and Erasmus, who had been defeated by humanity tens of thousands of years ago, but had been hiding all this time, preparing for revenge. Erasmus was convinced that humanity's immense tendency for destruction and inflicting pain necessitated an event like Kralizek, which would change the universe. Indeed, during the return of the Honored Maters, they systematically destroyed world after world. For instance, in retaliation against Miles Tegg for killing several of their leaders, the Maters completely exterminated all living beings on the planet Arrakis, formerly Arrakis. Erasmus sought to put an end to this rampant destruction and believed that under the control of machines, such devastation would stop for the benefit of humanity. Erasmus believed in mathematical predictions that said the ultimate Kwisatz Haderach must arise to bring order from chaos. To achieve their goals, the machines wanted to take control of the remaining human population and dominate them, using the Kwisatz Haderach. Erasmus calculated that the ultimate Kwisatz Haderach was aboard the Ithaca, and in the end, the ship was captured by the machines and taken to their capital. Meanwhile, in the Old Imperium, the honored Maters and the Bene Gesserit managed to come to an agreement and founded the new Sisterhood, an organization that combined representatives from both sides. The leader of the Sisterhood became Murbella, who, after consuming a large dose of melange, discovered the true reality. It turned out that in the uncharted regions of the universe, the honored Maters had encountered a machine outpost and destroyed it, which provoked Omnius to attack humanity once again. This was the reason the machines decided to strike back. Murbella received reports from distant human colonies with the machines and launched an incalculable military armada against humans, sweeping everything in its path and advancing towards the territories of the Old Imperium to subjugate humanity. The machines were aided by special creatures, enhanced face dancers, creations of the Bene Lilacs. These beings could take on any appearance and were indistinguishable from the original. They had been embedded in the governments of many powerful organizations long in advance, and, at the right moment, acted in favor of the machines, spreading chaos and preventing resistance. There were hundreds of millions of face dancers, and they infiltrated every aspect of human society. The Machine Armada began its attack on the borders of human-controlled space and dealt humanity the greatest damage it had ever suffered, greater even than during the Butlerian Jihad. When the day of Kralizek arrived, Murbella and her daughter, Janice Idaho, attempted to organize humanity's last desperate resistance. Meanwhile, the Ithaca was captured and brought to the machine capital, Synchrony, with the entire crew and Golas on board, including a clone of Paul Atreides. Since the machines had two versions of Paul Atreides, one from Ithaca and another, Paolo, Omnius decided that Paul and Paolo would fight to the death, and the winner would be declared the ultimate super being, heralding Kralizek, change, and victory for the machines. During the duel, Paolo fatally wounded Paul with a knife, and in celebration of his victory, consumed an extremely potent dose of melange. From this, Paolo fell into a deep trance, in which he saw all possible aspects of the universe, past and future. He remained in this trance, neither drinking nor eating, and after a few days, simply died. However, the Gola Paul Atreides used his body's self-healing abilities and recovered. When Paul regained his strength, he declared that the final Gola of Duncan, Idaho, a man without special breeding, was in fact the ultimate Kwisatz Haderach in the universe. Right after this, the Oracle of Time appeared in Synchrony, a super being from the distant past who had once founded the Spacing Guild. The Oracle of Time confirmed that Paul was correct, and that Duncan truly was the Kwisatz Haderach. She also announced that she would leave the universe and take Omnius and all his versions with her to save humanity. That's exactly what happened. The Oracle disappeared into another dimension, taking all aspects of the machine tyrant with her. But before leaving, she, leading the Spacing Guild Armada, destroyed the first wave of the machine army. Humanity watched in amazement as the remaining robots, which had just been threatening their extinction, simply shut down after Omnius vanished. Another shock for Janice, Murbella, and all the leaders of humanity was that thousands of people around them suddenly died. It turned out that all of them were face dancers, who also perished due to what happened in Synchrony. There, the true Quathadak, Duncan Idaho, found common ground with the robot Erasmus, the former ally of the leader of the thinking machines. Erasmus recognized Duncan as a super being and realized that he could save humanity from self-destruction and guide it towards a peaceful future. Thanks to Duncan and his many lives as a Ghola, Erasmus finally gained an understanding of what it means to be human. Fearing that his existence would become dull and meaningless, he shared it with Duncan, using the many deaths that the Quathadak had experienced in his life to create a true death for himself. Erasmus, quietly and contentedly, died in the form of Marty. But before this, Erasmus transferred his memory to Duncan, and his presence remained within the consciousness of the Quathadak to guide and advise him. To the great surprise of humanity, the war between humans and the machines not only fully ended, but the ultimate Quathadak emerged to lead both humanity and the machines into the future. Janice was overjoyed to discover that humans and machines would now live in complete harmony, and her father would be both the new universal consciousness and the super being of humanity. In the end, Kralizek concluded with the formation of a new order, in which Duncan became the supreme being in the universe, capable of controlling machines and greatly influencing humans. Humanity and the thinking machines would now work together in full cooperation. So, what do you think of this conclusion to Dune? Share your thoughts in the comments. And that's all from me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your engagement is the best reward for me. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.